Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the match day spread. He's reaching for the buffalo wing. Perfect. Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too. Incredible. What a finish! Sensational combination! Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name's Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
I think as soon as I started playing in bands, it was like all I thought about. And like anything that I had to do day to day was kind of like just getting through it so I could, you know, get to the next time I was going to be in a rehearsal room or playing a gig. And yeah, it definitely kind of just changed. It became such like an obsession very quickly. Yeah.
And it is like an economy of passion, right? No one's getting into this to make money. Not going to get a salary within, you know.
Well, I just remember being very smug in school because I was like, I kind of know what I want to do and I'm quite good at it, and that's it. And everyone else was sort of stressing about what unis and stuff to go to, and I was like, I've got that sorted. So I enjoyed that moment, that feeling for a while, and then it got a bit real.
Yeah.
But both my parents were freelancers. Like my mum was a radio plugger, my dad was a musician, he works in TV. Like they were both freelancing for ages, and it always got pushed on me that it's like a viable thing to do. And that it was actually my music teacher who was the person that was like, what are you doing that for? Like, get a real job, and why would you go down to London when you can stay in Scotland for free education? And I was like, you're the one person that I would have hoped would be the other way. And she actually told me off for playing a bass in case I break it, and I was like, this is brilliant. So my parents were just like, yeah, do it. It's such a viable career. You just have to be sort of on it and be able to handle the fact that you might not have steady income past 6 months or 3 months, and just take it as it comes. And you know, we're not the most, they've been freelance for ages, so they've not been able to retire, but they always made that decision of like, I'd rather just do what I want and have the time and freedom and have enough money to get by. And you know, we had a great upbringing, house, a dog and everything. Like it's been great, but it was like, just do what you want to do, you know, get pushed. So very lucky, because I know it's not like that for a lot of people. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like the people who you're surrounded by, like, do kind of make you think like, oh, that what's normal or not, and that's going to have a profound impact on the way that you see yourself, right? There must have been times where you're like, oh fuck, this is hard. Like, how are we going to get through this one?
We were playing a gig in a Chinese restaurant when I first moved to London with the band that I was in coming out of uni, and not realizing it was a Chinese restaurant, which is like, you know, it's fine. It was kind of funny at the time, but there was like no one there, and it was a Chinese restaurant, and it was like ages away from where any of us lived. And I remember actually this was the gig where my keyboard stand collapsed from beneath me because I was playing like some synths.
Like that video of the school kids playing Weezer.
Oh yes, yeah, literally like that. Yeah, I think it's like anything, you question it all the time, but I think that there are always enough things to make you like hold on to your faith and like give you perspective on why you're doing it, you know. And you need to like just make sure you listen to those things and don't get drowned out by like all of the negative energy.
I think when you come from a place of just like really caring and like dedicating yourself to it, putting the hours in, you know, I don't believe in meritocracy. very much. Like, I don't think like the more work you do, like the more successful you'll be. There are plenty of people who work really, 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 really hard, but don't have the same level of success in whichever kind of lens as like others do. But I think there is something about like when you really care about something, you just end up finding a way.
Yeah, I think like the idea of success and like what is success, because we've all got an idea of what we want to be, and I think it's a very fine line between like ambition and not actually enjoying what you're doing. You know, the three of us are really ambitious people, and we all want the maximum thing that we can get out of this, and we've had enough sort of validation and reassurance with it so far that it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it could go further. We've been plugging away in bands before, and like me and Lev were in a band for like 4 or 5 years, just trying to get a booking agent, just trying to get this one guy who we would suit their roster. We were like, we really want you to book, but that also, we didn't really know that booking agents existed. It was more like, how are these bands getting on that festival? How is that band supporting that band? There must be some dark art going on that we're not aware of. So we plugged away trying to get a booking agent.
No one tells you that stuff.
No one, no one tells you. And we just couldn't get it. And then we started Ebbb as a sort of, Lev started Ebbb just as a sort of retaliation, just like, fuck this. I'm just going to make completely different music to what we were making before. And then everything came in quite quickly. That's funny. And then we were like, wow, it does exist. And then, from that point, we've just been wanting to ride that wave. But I know that a lot of bands don't think about 50 years. It's more like 1 year, right? And then it's like 50 years later. I didn't realize this would go on this long.
That's such a great way to start a band, out of like a bit of it's not
rage.
Hatred, is it? Yeah,
definitely frustration for sure.
Because we live in like a mad time for, I was going to say young people, but actually people, whatever age you're at, it's a mad time to get by. Did it change did it change your outlook on life when things started to pick up?
I felt like we were on this sort of like private mission. That like you'd be on the tube and you'd be thinking like, I'm doing this thing. It definitely like made you feel
a little secret,
more purposeful. Yeah,
that's fun.
Kind of, yeah.
No one on this train knows I'm in an underground band.
No one knows what we're doing in that bedroom.
No one knows I'm going to put out this fucking incredible record.
Yeah,
that's back end it. And
that's it.
Shallow Hits, great album. The second half of it goes heavy, and it's like, I didn't grow up going to clubs. I grew up going to gigs, but last few years I've sort of found myself being in those environments and really enjoying more electronic music, and it scratches a lot of itches that I didn't know I had.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
It's a huge project. It's like building a house or something, it feels like. I mean, like, when do you start having the idea, okay, we're gonna make an album, this is gonna be the first track? How does that work?
I think we were very like, because we're very like excitable and plan ahead, and we had sort of track lists envisioned for albums from like day one. So the album kept changing because we'd write something that we thought was better, or we were more excited by. So the kind of like foundations for an album were there like a couple of years ago.
And you're like practicing every week?
No, absolutely not. I'm gonna just out it.
Yeah.
We never really rehearse because it's all track. So it's always going to be basically the same every time. I'm just exposing it.
It's good.
Shamelessly.
Yeah.
Shamelessly.
This is inside baseball.
Yeah. So I think we've only got in a room, and like, because the writing process is quite individual. Like Lev and will come up with most of the stuff, and then I'll sort of get to it at the end of the sort of chain, and I'll just put the drums on top of it. But because the tracks are the tracks, and because we're playing to the track live, it's just a case of going in and just checking that it sounds good really quickly.
But you're practicing individually?
Yeah. But yeah, we rehearse just to make sure it sounds how we all think it should sound individually. Yeah.
I appreciate your time. It's good talking about like how it works, because I think you said it earlier, Will, but you don't know how it works. Like, you see other bands and artists do it, and even if you're a fan, it's like, it's kind of interesting to know how it works. So there's a lot that goes on behind it, and there's not loads of education about it, or like people don't really talk about it that much. And then a big part of it, which is how we kind of started this show, is like, want to speak to people about their funny jobs in between tours and making it work, because we do live in that time where bitty jobs and part-time jobs are just part of everyday lives. Like, how's it worked for you? Like, music doesn't make money for a long time, if ever. So you got to find the money elsewhere.
Yeah, all three of us have got very different experiences as well, from completely different,
right?
like mental states.
Yeah,
you know. Like,
right. So how's it worked for you, Scott?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was always a big fan of variety, and I used to play. I used to do a lot more session stuff and play with lots of different acts, and I just loved the variety. I loved playing heavy one week and then playing on mallets the next day. Like, I just wanted to keep, I wasn't very high up, but I was sort of enough, like 100, 200 quid here and there. It was with artists and people that I really loved, and like, it was projects that were sort of a bit more creative and a bit more unique. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to creatively invest as much time into as possible because I love it. But Ebbb started to take over a bit. I started to sort of prioritize a bit more, but I wanted to keep the variety, so I ended up getting into trad music, Scottish and Irish. And I picked up the bowran, which is like the Irish drum, and I started playing that. That one, it's like opening a door handle. And that's actually been like the best. That's just been a great wee money maker for me, because it's just playing in pubs and just playing tunes that I love and going to sessions and just being Scottish, getting paid to be Scottish, which is brilliant. Yeah. So I'm really good at that. Yeah.
Getting paid to be Scottish in England.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
We've got a couple of residencies. Like, we'll just play. We've got one in central London that's a session, so it's like, three of us run it, and then those people can join, but no one ever joins. No one knows about it, so it's just the three of us just chilling out and playing. And I do weddings as well. I'm in like a more of a traditional ceilidh band that does like more weddings and corporate events and all that, and it's really fun because the novelty of it will not get old. Like, I just love seeing people fling themselves about, and people are these big ceilidhs, they come in and they're a bit unsure of themselves, but they're up for it, and then an hour later they're just sweating, flinging people about. That's and quality. It just doesn't get old. It's great for people watching. And
watching people lose themselves a little bit.
Yeah, it's very smugly. So I mean, this is maybe a bit of a tangent, but like this was such a thing that I grew up with, like these dances, and then I come to London and I see that these bands exist, and I'm like, these are dances I used to do in school. Like, this was part of my curriculum. This is brilliant. And there was just people from all different backgrounds, all shapes and sizes, people would wear kilts, people would wear suits, people would wear shorts. Like, everyone's just there having a good time. And I was like, this is brilliant. This is like such a blast from the past for me, and I never thought I would get to play the tunes. And I just love seeing people have fun to them.
You already know it. You know the vibe. There's an intuition, I imagine.
Yeah, but it's like, I did it, and then I sort of knew that was what it was, but then it's like a renewed love for it when you see it in a different context. Yeah. And same with the trad music. I kind of was brought up on it a wee bit, just like I was aware of it, and it's such a big thing. Like the market for it is absolutely huge. But when I actually started actively listening to it when I was in London, I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, this is unreal. And loads of people are doing it, and not many of them are Scottish. So it's like a chance to bring Scottish music back to the forefront.
And with the Irish trad stuff, like all the Guinness t-shirts, all the Guinness paraphernalia,
it's huge,
having a good moment. It's a pretty different way to live that.
It's good because you can kind of get pished before you play, and it's just super
you can have
chill.
A very good time.
Yeah, and it's just, I love it because it's such a pure form of music. It's like these tunes that have been around forever, like hundreds of years, and these songs that have been around forever, but people sing them in a completely different way, and people approach them in a different way just based on who they are.
Yeah.
And also everyone loves them in the pub. Like, as soon as you bring out a fiddle, there's always some guy that's like coming up to say, oh, is that a fiddle? Go on, plays a tune. It's just like everyone loves it straight away.
You don't mind it?
No.
You don't mind people asking?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Those songs have been around for hundreds of years. Like, they're songs that have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Inarguably. And so it's kind of interesting that there is this this group of songs that just are so good that they've lasted hundreds of years and people still want to sing them. And there's storytelling in that, whether it's about the landlord or whether it's about...
It's important stuff.
Immigration.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in those songs, and we can learn a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like I learn a lot when I hear those songs and read the lyrics, Yeah,
there's a lot of real sad stuff in there. Scottish stuff is always really sad and somber.
How about you, Will?
I teach music. I teach piano and singing just like individual tuition in people's homes, like privately. You've got to present, definitely, there's like a balance that you've got to strike, especially like a lot of the parents hover in the room while you're teaching.
Okay.
And yeah, you got to make sure you're on it the whole time, especially if you're a bit tired, dare I say it, a little bit hungover sometimes.
No, that's okay, that's fine.
You've got to be just like making sure, because like some of these kids are really young, you've got to be so attentive, you know. You can't like leave them to their own devices for, you know, more than like 5 seconds.
The thing I always found learning a little bit of piano, like so fortunate that our parents, me, my brother and sister, our parents were like, take as many lessons as you can, just to try and do all of it. And that's such a fortunate place. But I do remember being like, I'm fucking bored and I don't want to do this. But then equally, you kind of, when you do it yourself, there's a lot of fun in it. What if you know a bit of the basics? So if you know the basics of how to play a bit of guitar and you know a few chords, then you don't have to follow the teacher and you can go off and do your own thing. But the more you know, the better you can do your own thing, right? So there's a weird kind of yin yang in that.
When I teach adults, quite often all they want to do is like learn the chords for like Let It Be, or you know, just have like a few chords in their arsenal so they can just like do a few pop songs that they really like. And they don't really want to know. Like sometimes I then, because I think they might be interested, start talking about like some theory and stuff, and you can see their eyes glaze over. They're like, I don't care. Yeah, some of them do, but you know, it really depends on like each person I teach. You've got to like tailor. That's I think the biggest skill that I've like had to learn is like adapting yourself for each individual student, because some kids obviously really just don't want to be there, and it's very much their parents who are like, you know, basically forcing them to, well, not forcing, but you know, highly encouraging them to do it. Right. And you know, you have to like find a way to make, because they might have really short attention spans in that kind of, so you got to make sure like everything's constantly jumping to the next like topic.
We're the ADD generation.
There has been like, I don't know, there have been kids that are super hyperactive where I can't basically get them to focus on like literally anything. Even if I like try and play a game with them, they're like literally like jumping around the room and like on this, because there's always like in their home environment, they're jumping on the sofa. And I'm like, can you just sit down? Just sit down?
You can't tell them what to do in their own gaff.
That's the thing. There is a little bit of a sense of like, you know, you don't want to overstep the mark. And as I said, the parents are often around, so it's like you can't. But yeah, I've had to. Thing is, I think you've just got to kind of like disconnect in that kind of environment. You've got to kind of disconnect yourself from it. You got to, obviously, you know, you want to care about each lesson that you teach, but if it's like you're not getting through to them, you've just got to like actually be so zen about it. Be like, okay, like you don't want to do this.
You've got to be really patient.
So patient, yeah. But my parents are teachers, so you know, I grew up, and my mum did a lot of stuff, especially during COVID, like on Zoom and stuff. So I'd hear her like in the house doing it, and she's like the master of like being tolerant and patient. So
you can pick up some tricks.
I suppose, but I'm not nearly as patient as her. Like, she's got the patience of a saint. But
love it. Have you and this is a good way to end the like, you know, everyone has those days of work where you kind of fuck up, or you just want the day to, you know, be over in a flash, just like that. I'm a big fan of like, when I worked at the bar upstairs here, I would get told off all the time and get reprimanded in that office just there. And Ross, who you met coming in, he'd always tell me off for stinking, but stinking a rolly. But I that kind of that, I think it's such a fascinating thing. I think when you get embarrassed, or you just feel kind of out of place in the, you know, when you feel your face get red. I love those stories of embarrassment and fuck ups. Any Scott, I see you like,
yeah, I've just thought of one. Yeah. So it was probably it's a music one, but we were busking on the streets of Paisley, and it was a metalcore band. There was 6 of us on these cobbled streets in Paisley, full setup, like massive amp stacks, like full drum kit. I think I had like a 5-piece drum kit. I had like 6 cymbals. I was, you know, it was proper. And we just set up, and it's under this sort of gazebo, and we start playing, and it's all originals, but it's just super heavy, and just like 16-year-olds playing thrash. And these guys, this queue starts forming in front of us, and we're like, okay, here we go. This is, you know, this is sick. It turns out they were queuing for the next door ale tasting. So but then they were of course stuck in this queue, listening to us, subjected
to heavy metal thrash.
And I just remember going, oh fuck. And my dad, I remember picking me up, and he was like, There you go. That's it. It's all up now.
Especially, there's going to be like, I don't know if humbling is the word, but you're going to, you're going to have your ups and downs when you have to face the cold, hard mirror.
Yeah, at one point it was the queue had gone in and it was actually a man and his dog.
Love it. That's the new Heavy Metal Parking Lot. You know that video, that film? It's one of my favourite films ever. Yeah. I mean, it's 12 minutes long on YouTube, but
yeah.
How about you, Will? Have had any bad...
I mean, earlier I mentioned the keyboard stand. I mean, that's like, felt like one of the worst things that had ever happened to me.
Quite an important gig, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah. I mean, that's happened to me more than once. Basically, I used to have, like, it's crazy. I used to have this, like, really faulty keyboard stand that I just didn't replace, And at the end of each gig, I'd think, I need to replace that. And then I'd get kind of drunk and then, forget.
Yeah.
And think, God, I can't really afford it. It's probably fine, Because I'd have this, like, makeshift way of keeping it upright with, like, a fucking rubber band and stuff. It was ridiculous, honestly ridiculous. And, yeah, a couple of times it just fell beneath me, but... I remember there was one where it was pretty much just my school friends in the audience, and like a lot of them I hadn't seen for a long time, and I was really like, thanks so much for coming, like really touched that they'd made it and stuff. And obviously, like, this is my band, they haven't seen me for a while, like, let's go. And like song 3 or whatever, in a really like impassioned moment, because I used to sing and play keys. Mm-hmm. I like, this moment that was supposed to be really dramatic, like press down on the keyboard and just fell with it. And like my friends did laugh, and like then people tried to help me. I remember my brother was there, just like tried to help me like pick up the keyboard stand, and like it was just tragic, I was just like, what am I doing?
But if you can get through that, I think you'll be right.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to have those experiences for sure. Like, there's definitely been stuff subsequently that would have been incredibly embarrassing that has felt less embarrassing because of that, for sure.
If I get told off, I get embarrassed. That's kind of my main type of embarrassment. But my mum just was so embarrassing as a kid that just helped me later on in life. I think she stopped a football game at school once because she ran on to make sure I was wearing my vest, and then kind of ran back onto the sidelines. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. Like, this is low. And so, but in a way, that's given me freedom in life, because I think if you're less embarrassed and you're less hesitant to do things because of what other people think, you can just do more stuff.
I think it was, as a kid, I didn't really give a fuck. Like, I didn't really process what was going on, because there's one story that my dad, I hope it's true, but apparently I came back after a football game and my dad was like, oh, what happened? I was like, oh, brilliant, we scored. I scored. My dad was like, oh, what was the score? And I was like, we lost 1-0.
You were the goalkeeper.
That was before then I went into goals after that.
Scott and Will, appreciate chatting with you. I think we'll probably chat again later on down the line. I think you lot are going to have a fun year. Basically, I mean, we're halfway through the year now, but you must have a lot booked in between now and next year.
Yeah, enough to keep us going. Like, we've had a few mental years, and the record is just such a big deal for us as people. So yeah. Enough to keep us going. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
So much. Absolute pleasure, man. Thank you.
So that was Ebbb here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Ebb's debut record, Shallow Hits, is out now, Ninja Tune. It's excellent. Go and listen to it. It starts off like scratching an itch that you didn't know you had, and then about halfway through takes a mad turn. So yeah, go and give it a listen, give it a blast. Cheers for listening to the podcast. Recently, we've had Stuart Lee, Emma Doran, and Get Down Services on. And coming up, we've got the Merry Wallopers, Bro Geel, and Power Plant. So to get those when they come out, click subscribe. Nice one. Cheers. Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers.